Hey guys, it's your best fight friends. I'm Kelsey. Here comes Rachel because we actually already did this show and
it wasn't recording.
It wasn't recording.
So we did a whole show.
It was only for Jesus. He's like, good one, guys. It's my favorite show. Now do it again. Exactly the same.
Hey guys, it's your best fight friends. I'm Rachel. This is Kelsey. And hey, this time around, I do remember what I want to talk about because we just talked about it. And that is, I want to talk about Stipe. Stipe has a big fight. Stipe Miocic, if you don't know. Stipe has a big fight. We're on a first name basis, though.
Yeah, we is.
A big fight coming up on Saturday.
You don't know that.
UFC 260 versus Francis Ngannou. Just let me say, I keep going back and forth. I don't know who's going to win this fight. I'm like, oh, Francis is going to knock him out. Oh, Stipe's going to, take him to the ground and then it's over. I don't know what's happening with this fight. But we do know something else about Stipe. And that's what he wants to do should he win this fight on Saturday. What he wants to do next.
He wants to fight Kelsey McCarson inside a potato sack.
That seems really
Imagine
close.
trying to get away from Stipe inside of a potato sack. No. I forfeit. I preemptively forfeit. And the thing he really wants to do is fight Tyson Fury and or Anthony Joshua inside a boxing ring, Rachel.
Yeah, and so if you're an MMA fan and not a boxing fan, both of those guys are world champions in boxing in their prime. Right now, they're champions. Huge. And Stipe's, you know what? I'd like to try that.
Have you seen how much Chael Sonnen hates Anthony Joshua? He just constantly trolls him on social media, but I don't understand why.
Yeah.
Do you understand it?
No, I don't.
Do you think...
I don't listen to Chael.
Do you think Chael would be rooting for Stipe Miocic over Anthony Joshua in a boxing match?
Well, clearly.
Do you think Chael would pick Stipe Miocic?
I don't know.
I think it's interesting. I don't think Stipe Miocic could actually outbox Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury, but he definitely wants to do that over fighting John Jones, right? Johnny Bones, baby! He wants to fight those guys in boxing fights over John Jones, Rachel. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that it's interesting. So, it says to me that Stipe is a unique kind of man, and that maybe he thinks about life in a different way than other people. Because, here's the thing. I like Stipe. I like seeing him fight.
I love him.
I like him inside the cage. I think that I like him outside the cage. I don't follow a lot of fighters outside in their, what they do personally or on social media. But nothing's come across my way that's I don't like him. No, I think I like Stipe. But let me just say this. I don't think Stipe is a household name. So this wanting to go over to boxing, not to start a new career or a simultaneous career like Clarissa Shields. No, I just want to go and fight the top guy in the boxing world right now in the heavyweight division. I'm just really?
Why? I mean, for money, maybe, right? I think it would make a lot of money. Just the novelty of it.
I don't know who's looking for this thing. So you take Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. That took the whole sports world, and even people who weren't sports fans were kind of intrigued. It was such a spectacle because they were both so huge and household names. This, if I go over to boxing fans, do they know who Stipe Miocic is if they don't watch MMA? No. And then if I go over to MMA fans, I'm not sure they know who Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua are if they only watch MMA. So then I'm well, this fight is for that, very small niche audience of boxing and MMA fans like Kelsey and Rachel, which I'm all here for it. I'm totally I want to see these big guys box, and I like both of them. Why not? Yeah, I totally want to see it. I don't know if it moves a meter outside of this very small niche. I'm not sure what it does for Stipe's career, which is why I think he's a unique kind of man that's just you know what? This would be really interesting. I really want to do it.
I had forgotten. I was watching Ariel Helwani's interview with Stipe Miocic because I'm a writer, and I was I'm going to try to get some quotes out of here. But I forgot how hard it was to get quotes out of Stipe Miocic until I saw Ariel Helwani interview him, and I was oh yeah, I remember interviewing Stipe Miocic because he doesn't really give you, you know what I mean? He doesn't. There's some fighters that will say talk, but they don't really give you anything.
Yeah, you need fighters. If you're a writer, you need quotes, and you need fighters to say things in a certain way or be like direct and clear and just say it.
Like complete sentences.
Yeah.
Really, not just fragments.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I love Stipe Miocic. He's just that guy, though. Like, he's a real down-to-earth, like, everyday type of guy who is a fireman. Like, he legitimately is that type of guy. There's a clip in one of the recent UFC's promotional assets where he runs into Francis Ngannou at, like, a pre-event thing, and he's like, hey, nice suit. But he's legitimately telling Francis that it's a nice suit, and it just blows Francis's mind. Because Francis is like, what's this guy's angle? You know what I mean? And he's like, he has really taken it back, like, it blows up his brain, but Miocic is like, legit, he's like, no, really, seriously, it's a nice, or maybe nice shirt. I don't remember what it was. Something like that. He was legitimately, like, he is that guy, and then when he goes into the octagon, he's a fighter. Kind of like Manny Pacquiao in a way, right? It's that Manny had such a big following, you know, that it was a little different, obviously. He's not like Stipe Miocic. A lot of people in the world know who Manny Pacquiao is, even if they don't follow boxing. But they are similar in that way, I think.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things about Stipe is to speak to what you just said about him being down to earth and really genuine, right? Like, he just is who he is back sometime last year, Daniel Cormier had started talking a little bit of noise because he really wanted that title fight. Yeah. He wanted a title fight where he could come back and then he was going to retire. This was like his desire. So I make up a story that Cormier kind of needed to, ruffle the feathers of Stipe a little bit. He needed to get some movement going here. Yeah. And it helps promote the fight, right? So he said some stuff on, I think, DC and Hawani on their show about, like, Stipe, just, he didn't want to fight him, like, all that kind of stuff. And I remember Stipe hears it for the first time. Like, on a live interview, somebody's like, Cormier, like, said this, and he literally is like... Like, he's like, that's crazy. I'm in the middle of a pandemic. Like, I can't even train. How could I go do this? So he says that, like, he responds, and then the interviewer, like, keeps talking, and I'm watching his face, because it's on YouTube, and he's just like, he's still, like, because in his head, it's moving through his head, and he's just like, that's ridiculous. Because Stipe he took it at face value, he didn't go, oh yeah, this is part of the game, this is part of the promotion or whatever. He literally just took it because I think that's how Stipe lives his life.
And I like to think that Stipe, when he was like, I'm just going to accept this, I'm going to accept this as part of my experience, and then the first time I get a chance to jab my entire finger into Cormier's eye, I'm going to do so.
No.
Remember the eye folks?
Yeah.
Listen, it would be remiss to say that also one of the, I think, more interesting people in combat sports is his opponent, Francis Ngannou, whose life story is frankly amazing. It's like, what's the book that we love? The Alchemist. If you read it, The Alchemist, and the person following their personal legend and like...
They're on a journey.
Yeah. Okay, that is Francis Ngannou. Really, really lived that life. And just such an amazing guy and like... has had such an amazing life, and here is on the precipice of Daniel Cormier, speaking of Daniel Cormier, was talking about how if Francis Ngannou wins this fight, which last I checked he was favored to do actually, he could become the next like huge like Brock Lesnar type combat sports person in the world, and I absolutely believe it because of his amazing life story. He's genuinely a humble, down-to-earth guy who can like knock your head off your shoulders with his fist. But also like a really likable and lovable type guy. Really, both these guys in their own way have just a special quality about them, and I love that. I love that when the pinnacle of the sport, you can really root for both guys. Well,
I think it makes watching, for me, UFC 260, the main event, really fun.
Yeah. Because
I get to go in and I really like both guys.
Yeah, you don't have to be like, I hope this one guy doesn't win because I hate him. Or like because he's terrible or whatever, but both these guys are great.
Yeah, so I'm legitimately like, I don't know, like, and I don't know who wins. I really, really just don't.
I have no idea. You could, because as soon as like I can think like, oh, you should pick Miocic because what happened in the last fight, right? And all et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But as soon as I think that, I'm like, yeah, but Francis could knock him out in like 6 seconds. Because Francis is just like crazy. Yeah. But then you're like, how would he do that? Miocic has so much experience, and he's already shown that he can avoid that.
Yeah.
I don't know. The craziest part about the whole matchup is, I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, but is this. Ngannou's won 4 fights in a row, right? And he looks great. He's saying, like, oh, I've done all this stuff to get better. We don't really know. We didn't really see a lot in those 4 fights, right?
I know.
He knocked everybody out so fast that we really have no idea how much better he is, how many more skills he has. If he's in a fight where he can't knock the guy out in the first couple minutes, what happens? I don't know. I hope we get to see it.
I definitely hope we get to see it, too. What does that even mean? And we hope we get to see it. We're going to watch UFC 260. It's happening.
No, I hope the fight goes longer.
Oh, okay.
I hope that somebody shows he has a chance to display, like, the things that he's been working on.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can't do that if you're just knocking about in, like, 10 seconds or whatever.
You know what you have a chance to display? How you can like, comment, and subscribe to this video, our channel, because you love us and you're our best fight friends.
But
right?
Don't forget that some people listen to this on a podcast, Rachel.
Actually, we're doing this in the middle, so it's only to YouTube, but I'm going to cut it for the podcast.